Hey everybody, this is Melissa. If you've been here before, welcome back. If this is your first time, welcome. And if you haven't done so already, please take a moment and subscribe to my channel. This way you'll be the first to know when I upload a new tutorial. I'm really excited everyone's here, so let's go ahead and get started. So today I'm in Excel and I'm going to talk about the difference between a SUMIF and SUMIFS function. So the main difference is a SUMIF is used to add up or sum data based on one condition. SUMIFS does the same thing, except for it's based on multiple conditions. So let's talk about a SUMIF first. So I have a spreadsheet with some customer data, invoice number, dates, item description, quantity, and dollar amount. So in this SUMIF, I want to add up everything in this column that is apples. Okay? So we're going to click on our function, and I'm going to type in SUMIF just in case it's not showing in your most recently used. So once you type in SUMIF, hit go. SUMIF, tell it OK. So we have our function arguments box that pops up here. Our range is where do we want to look? And we want to look in item description. So F2, Control Shift down to F200. Okay, hit tab, and we'll go back to the top. Our criteria is what are we looking for? Well, our condition up here is apples. So we want to type in apples. Tab. Our sum range is what do we want to add up? Well, we want to add up our amount, so we're going to highlight H2. We're going to Control Shift down so it gets all the way to H200, and we're going to tell it OK. So now it's went through here and it's added up all of the apples, and it's $5,253.22. So now let's look at a SUMIFS. We're going to click this cell here. Go back to our function, SUMIFS, go, tell it OK. So now we get a function arguments box, and it looks a little bit different. So the first thing we're going to put in is our sum range, which is what do we want to add up. So we want to add up H2, Control Shift down to H200. We're going to tab, going to go back up. Our criteria range 1 is where are we looking? So our criteria or condition is apples, and we want to look for apples in this item description. So that's going to be F2, Control Shift down to F200, tab. I'm going to go back to the top. And criteria 1 is what are we looking for? Criteria 1 is my condition 1. So we're looking for apples. Back that up. Goes in criteria 1, apples. Okay. Criteria range 2 is where are we looking for our criteria 2 or our condition 2? Well, that is a date field. So we're going to look in B2, Control Shift down to B200. Tab. Now here's where it gets a little bit tricky. But I'm going to walk you through it, and I'm going to put some notes in the description to help walk you through it too. So what we're going to look for in condition or criteria 2 is a date greater than or equal to January 1st of 2020. And in order to accomplish this, we're going to have to use what's called a Boolean operator. So we're going to go down here in criteria 2, and we're going to tell it in quotes greater than or equal to, and close those quotes, and we're going to have to put an ampersand. Now you can type the cell in to reference the date that you're looking for, or you can click on a cell to reference the date, and that's what I'm going to do, and I'll show you why I prefer that method in just a second. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to say M10. Okay, Let's hit tab. Now we're going to have another set of data for condition 3 because we want it to be less than or equal to 6/30 of 2020. So our range is going to be the same, but instead of copy and pasting this, you always want to go back and do the same steps to make sure that you don't copy the wrong criteria, because then it will not work. And if you have upwards of 10, 15 different conditions, it's going to be really hard to figure out what went wrong where. So I'm going to go back to B2, Control Shift down. I'm going to tab. Now, we're going to do another Boolean, and we're going to tell it this time less than or equal to, and close those quotes, and for Stan. And then we're going to tell it in 10. Okay. Now we're going to tell it OK. Now what it's done is it's went through and it's looked for apples between these dates, and that's $2,930.02. Now just a little bit earlier, I told you that I wanted to pick the cell instead of typing in the date. Let me show you why. Let's say that we just wanted to find January. We can change this to 1/31/2020, hit enter, and there was no apples between that date. Let's say we want to look at February. There was $388.24. So to sum it up, you use a SUMIF if you have one condition. You use a SUMIFS if you have multiple conditions. And again, I will put a sample Boolean operator down in the description so that you have a little bit more of an idea of how to use those. If you found this tutorial helpful, please be sure to like it, subscribe to my channel, and get notified. And I'll be back tomorrow with another tutorial. Thanks so much for watching.